Good morning, everyone. So, last session we learned how to set up React application. So, what we discussed is how we can create. So, we learned about creating a React, not creating a React app. What we done is adding React, right? Adding React to existing application. This is what we done yesterday. So we learned how to set up environment for React, what we need to install, and how we can add React to existing application. Uh, for this, what are the libraries required? So we discussed about React up to which version? 17. Up to 17 version, it is different. From 18, it is different. So what are the libraries required up to 17 version? So up to 17 version, the libraries required. We discussed that we need React.js. Another one is React DOM.js. Another one, Babel. Babel.js. Actually, it is a Babel standalone library. And I given the links for you, CDN links, how we have to link and use. So today we will see how we can use the same React application with offline libraries. Actually, if you are not using CDN links, you can install and you can use it. So this is the project we created yesterday. So let's go to React web application. And in React web application, these are the packages we installed. So these packages we are using in our project. And one is React development, DOM development. Another one is Babel. So we discussed that React is not using directly JavaScript. It is using JSX, JavaScript extension, and how to render content. So one example I showed. But this is not new approach. This is React 17. Up to React 17, this is how we create a application. From React 18 onwards, what changes happened, I will show you. But how to use React in an existing application with the libraries installed in our project. We will see that. So these are CDN links, and I already told you that it's not necessary to use React in every page, and it is not necessary to use React only in single page application. In a multi-page application also we can use React. We designed 2 pages. In this page, we have a general HTML, and in home page, we are displaying this message. And this message is coming from React. So for that, we created a virtual DOM, and into that we are rendering some content. That is welcome to React. And this must be processed by Babel. So already this process I showed. Let's see another one. Another is nothing but what we can do is, instead of using CDN, we can download all the React libraries and we can use them. Let's do that here. So I will remove these libraries because these are coming from CDN. I am removing those libraries. Then obviously the output will not work because the libraries are removed. Now how to set up the libraries? Let's see. So what we will do now is today, so adding React 17 libraries to a project. So how to add React 17 libraries to a project? We will see that. So you can add any library using package manager. You can add any library using package managers. We can use package managers. And which package manager we are using? Currently, so Node.js provides NPM as package manager. Because yesterday we installed Node.js. So yesterday we installed Node.js. So Node.js provides the package manager called NPM. So there are so many package managers, you can use them. But with Node.js, you will have this package manager. So what you have to do is open terminal in your project and install the following. First, you have to install npm install shortcut is I, or you can use install command. Npm install, what is the first library we need? React. You have to just use React. Npm install React. This is the first library you need. What is the another library you need? Npm install React DOM. Save. So you need to set up React and React DOM library. Yesterday we were directly using their CDN links. Means we are copying the CDN links from their official websites and using. I already given from where you can get that CDN links, the website's address. But now, what is advantage of installing these packages? You can work with your project offline. You don't need to connect with internet every time because CDN comes from server. You need to connect with server. Now you can work with your project offline if you have installed all the library. So we need React and React DOM. Another one we need compiler na npm install at the net. So at the net babel slash stand alone. That is the library unit. I told you Babel is a compiler and React uses this compiler. And this compiler is huge. It have a lot of things. Currently you need just Babel standalone. That is the compiler. Okay, let's install all these into our project. Yesterday's our project is this. This is the project we created. In this we added two folders. One is public, another one SR. So in public we have two files, home and index. In that React we are trying to use in which page? Home. So how do we use that? Let's see. First we will open the terminal. In the terminal menu you will have a terminal, and in the terminal sometimes it uses a PowerShell. You need to switch to command prompt. You have command prompt here. You can select a command prompt. So because PowerShell is for operating system related commands which may not allow to execute directly. So you just need a command prompt. You don't need a PowerShell. So select a command prompt in the terminal. And here what you have to do, install the packages. And as a developer, you worked with HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. When you install any library through NPM, all the library files are kept in a separate folder called node modules. You know that, right? Node modules is a folder where all these files are kept. Your Bootstrap and other files you kept there, right? So we have to use npm. First install. I is shortcut for that. And first you need what? React. That is the first library we are downloading. So this is the React library we are adding. Another, automatically you will see there is a node modules folder. Next you need another one, npm install React DOM and save. You need to install React DOM, and second React DOM also ready. We need one more. What is it? npm install at the name babel slash stand alone and save. Babel standalone libraries also is installed. Everything ready. Where you will confirm whether installed or not, which version installed. In package JSON. In package JSON you will find here. And see Babel, React DOM 18.2 version installed. But we are talking about 17 version. So if you want any specific version, you can set up by using version numbers. So, but here currently we are downloading React. It is installing this React 18 versions. But one point is, let's put this here first. Where these files are present? These files are present in node modules. In node modules, you will find one important is React, React DOM and Babel, three are there. Order, first you have to import React. In React, actually, you will find two module systems, CJS, UMD. You know JavaScript module systems. You learned about JavaScript different module systems. What are different module systems of JavaScript? CommonJS, UMD, AMD, RequireJS, ES module system. There are different module systems. It is providing library with two module systems. One is CJS, another one is UMD. Now what you have to do is, currently you are using Node.js. Node.js has package manager. So Node.js module system is UMD. If you set up CJS, it will not work. So that means they provided React library with two types of module systems. One CJS, another one UMD. People working in different environment according to their requirement, their existing environment, they will choose which module system they want. Already Node.js is set up with UMD module system. If you link other files, they don't work. So what you have to do, you have to go to UMD. In UMD, you see development is there, production is there. Which file we will include? Development we will include. So we will go to the home page. In the home page, we are first linking script. Script source, it is coming from // because it is in public folder. Node modules is outside. To access anything from same folder, you use // So // node modules in the React which system? UMD system, in that React development.js. That is the first file. Second file, you need script, script source, node modules, React DOM, in that UMD React DOM development.js. Yesterday we got these files using CDN. Now we are installing them and we are using. One more is required. What is it? So we need a script source and what it is? Node modules. So in that Babel, standalone babel.js. That is the file. Now we need to write a script. What is the script type? Script type must be text/Babel. That is the script type. After that, we need to use what it is? React DOM dot render method. What to render? Some message. Welcome to React.js something. And where to render? In the root element here. So document dot get element by ID. What it is? Root. That's what we need to do. But currently we are including the React.js working. We are including 18. So, but current, see the version here, react.dev. This is the latest website of React.js. So yesterday I given a link for that. This is the React. And this is actually latest React related updated website. In this you will find all the information about latest React. So currently it is React 18 version only, but still old features will work in React 18. So why this is possible? Because so for that you need to know one point. What is it? So note is React. React is backward compatible. Backward compatible. What is meant by backward compatibility? You know, in software technologies, backward compatibility means even you installed a latest version of library, the old technique will work. You install the latest version, but still the old techniques will work. But we recommend to use the new techniques in new version. But if still you are using the old technique, it's okay, it works. That is called backward compatible. That means what is that means? Backward compatible means you can use the 17 techniques in 18 library, which will work, but it is recommended to use all the 18 features. We will see that. Why we are discussing about two versions here? Because React is currently 18 version, but companies are not using this 18 directly everywhere now. Recent projects starting with React, but already React 18, but already the projects that are in React are still using up to 17 version only. That is the reason you should have knowledge on both of them. So here, so once you install, npm installs latest versions of libraries copied into node modules, node modules folder. So one more point I told you, npm provides two basic module systems. Module systems, what are those? One is CJS, another one is UMD, Common JS and Universal Module Distribution. Common JS and Universal Module Distribution. In JavaScript, you already learnt about modules, module systems. So we have CJS and UMD. And what happens is, Node and Babel compiler can use library from UMD. So hence you have to link UMD library files into page. That means actually it will be UMD slash react dot development dot JS. Another one will be React DOM development.js. These are the files actually you need. React development.js and React DOM development.js. From UMD system you have to use. If you use a different module system, it will not work. So you need to use the correct module system. So you can see here, let's try to change and verify whether they are correct or not. Means here it's working fine, but I told you yesterday warnings will come. Why warnings will come? Because this is the syntax of 17. That is the syntax of 17. But library we are using belong to what? 18. 18. But it is okay. You see the console. In the console, it will show you this error. Two warnings it has given. And yesterday I explained both of these warnings. One is, it is saying that you are using in-browser Babel, which we technically call as JIT. JIT means just in time. It is asking that better use AOT. AOT is ahead of time, right? That's okay. Next level, we are going to do that. We are going to use AOT only because this is just first design we create. Another warning, it says that you are using React DOM.render, which is not a 18 related syntax. So it is related to 70. But it's okay because our target is to just learn first how React works in its previous version and what changes they have made. We will see that. Now, this we don't need to worry about this as of now. So React is included and React is working. Now, the key point I will show you changes. Let's do one thing. Instead UMD system, I will remove this library and I will use CJS. Actually, in CJS also same file is present. React development.js. Here again CJS. In that React DOM development.js. Only for React. Standalone Babel is same. Now when I run this here, when we run this here, output is not there. Let's check the console and see the issue here. You see React DOM is not defined. That means it is unable to recognize this React DOM. Why? Because file is same, but we are using from a different module system, which is not recognized for this project. Because this project is built on Node. In that case, it uses a module system called UMD. You have to include the files from UMD. Then what you have to do, change this now. Instead of CJS, what you have to do, UMD. React DOM development. Another one, UMD, React DOM development.js. React development, React DOM development. Now you can see it is working fine again. It is showing the message welcome to React.js. One more point. Actually, your general script type is what? Generally, when you write JavaScript, it type is what? Text slash what? JavaScript, na? It is JavaScript. That's what you write. But it will not work here. It's not going to work. So it should use mandatorily text slash what? Babel. Or you can use JSX. JSX. That means you can see it is working fine. You can use JSX or you can use Babel. Anything is okay. It's working fine. So JSX or Babel. because it is not JavaScript, it is JavaScript extension. So another point is the, the language used for UI in React is JSX, JavaScript extension. JavaScript extension. So here usually, so it requires the MIME type for script as script MIME type as we have text slash Babel or text slash JSX. That is the point. Text slash Babel and text slash JSX. So we have to make sure that the script is using this. So the script you have to write like that. Another point is React 17 up to 17 version uses React DOM dot render method uses React DOM dot render method to render a component in a virtual DOM. To render a component in virtual DOM. So it uses this method called React DOM.render. Remember, React JavaScript based technologies all are case sensitive. Capitalization matters. You need to exactly write React DOM render in the same way. So the syntax will be like this, like script type is text slash Babel, and here we have to use React DOM dot render and your component content, and so here document dot get element by id and some element. So like this we have to define. And what is that root? So root is nothing but that root is a container with id root. It's a div in your page actually, where you want to render that content. I told you it can be anything, div, span or paragraph, any. So this is the basic syntax. This entire process we discussed yesterday. Today we just made a change. What is it is, instead of using the React CDNs and Babel CDNs, we are installing the libraries offline and linking them and using them. Now while working with this environment, so I will give you this example. Actually this is home.html page. I will copy this home.html page. This is the code. I will upload this into the classroom code. At the end of session, I will share the classroom code. So yesterday we shared with people who attended yesterday. There we will upload all these notes and content related, right? So usually this is the process of creating one simple React environment. Is it a React application? No, it's not a React application. We are using React in an existing web application. It is an ordinary web application and it is using React in certain page. It's not complete React application. How to build a separate React application also, you will see that. Initially, some more technical things you should know. Here, what we are rendering? We are rendering a message, welcome to React.js. Actually, what it can render? Usually, it's not just a message. We can render a component. Actually, we discussed that React is component based. React is component based. What is a component means? If you have worked with Bootstrap and all CSS related, I hope you people have awareness on that. Because see, remember one point, in React.js, you will not learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. This is for people who have done that. Here we don't teach any JavaScript, HTML, Bootstrap and all. We will directly use it. And remember, many times people ask like, sir, I know little bit CSS, little bit JavaScript and Bootstrap. Is it okay? Not okay. What is React? It is a library for building very interactive user interfaces. Now imagine how you can ask a question like, I know little bit CSS and you are going to build interactive UI. Seriously? How you will build an interactive UI without having a complete knowledge of CSS Bootstrap like concept? It's mandatory actually. That means React will not teach all that. React uses it. React is not about teaching you CSS, Bootstrap and all. React is about building, means you are learning very advanced user interface technology. And you can't say that I know little bit CSS. It's like joke. Because a React developer need to be master in CSS, HTML, JavaScript. Otherwise, he will not fit in real world projects. He must be very good with HTML, CSS, JavaScript and Bootstrap like things. Otherwise, no chance. You cannot call yourself as React developer, right? So after you are very good in your user interface, then you are enhancing your skill with React. That is the point you should remember. So what is a component? If you have already worked with Bootstrap and all, I hope you know. For example, suppose we have like some website I will open, Amazon. When we open Amazon, here you see in Amazon, there is a sliding banner here. You see there is a sliding banner. This is the sliding banner we are having. This is called as carousel. That is called as carousel, right? And can you name this part? What that is called as? Actually, that is called input group. That is called input group, right? Do you know these boxes? These boxes are called as what? Card. So carousel, input group, card, nav bar, these are all components. So Flipkart, Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, Netflix, these are all the technologies, these are all the web applications built with React. Amazon is built with React. Netflix is built with React. Facebook, Instagram are built with React. That means the point is, so it is a component base. And now tell me, what is a component? Carousel is a component. What is a component? A component comprises of user interface. It comprises of styles. It comprises of functionality. That means a component comes with markup, styles, and logic. Markup means presentation. How you do markup? HTML. How you give styles? CSS. How you write logic? JavaScript. JavaScript or TypeScript. Here you can use another language, TypeScript. First you will learn with JavaScript, later we will use TypeScript. So what is a component? A component is a combination of presentation, logic, and styles. What is the advantage of designing a component? You can reuse the components. You can reuse the components. You can easily extend them. So reusability, extensibility, and designing will be easy in a component based environment. I already given you features. Component based means what are the advantages I told you. Now learning React is all about how to build these components, how to create such components, how to reuse, how to extend them. We can create our own components. We can use ready-made components. Ready-made components are provided by several third parties. By using them, we can import and use. Right? We will see all of them. So, building a React application is all about components. So, currently, we are doing a simple output through a message. But actually, it's not a message. A component will come here. That means React is going to render one component. So how to design component and how to use a component, how we can create components and how to use the components. Let's see how we can do that. So first you have to try this up to. So how to define and work with it? Let's see. That means we are going to deal with React components. Remember, this you will see in two versions. I will show you both. One is in 17, another one 18. Currently, we are dealing with 17. In 17, I am showing you app, how React works. And we will not spend much time here because it's old version. We will just have an idea and shift to 18. There we will learn everything, more advanced and every concept here. Initially, what is a component? React component. So first point is a component. A component comprises of a first one, markup, styles, and functionality. Markup, styles, and functionality. Three basic things. So markup is the presentation. defined with HTML. Styles are the attributes defined with CSS to make interactive design. And the functionality is configured with JavaScript or TypeScript. So a component comprises of markup and styles and functionality. So React components, markup, presentation and all this. Functionality is configured with JavaScript or TypeScript. But we learned that it is not going to use directly JavaScript or TypeScript. It will use actually JSX, TSX like files, which I will explain. So functionality is configured using that. Now, what is the advantage of component is? So a component allows reusability and easy extensibility. A component allows reusability and easy extensibility. You can easily extend and you can easily reuse a design. Reusability and extensibility, we can reuse the designs, we can easily extend the designs using this component based approach, right? Now the question is how a component is designed, how we create a component, how to use a component, how a component is designed. Let's see. Actually, so you can create components in React by using two techniques. One is function, another one is class. So in React, components can be created by using functions and by using classes. You learned JavaScript. Tell me what is the advantage of a class over function? A function can contain some data and logic. Class also contains data and logic. What is the difference? In a function, you can have variables. You can store data in variables and you can define some functionality. In a class, you can have properties where you can store the data and you can have methods through which you define the functionality. You learned OOP concept now, right? Then what is the advantage of a class over a function? So classes are easy for extensions. That means class support inheritance, polymorphism. You know that. So not only that, so many more features are there. You will learn about them. We will discuss that. Functions, but classes have a drawback. What is it? Class is a OOP concept. What is the drawback of class? It is heavy. It uses more memory. It is complex in configurations. That is the reason React people, they use functions and classes for building components according to requirement. Recently, from advanced version, means in old version up to 17, class components have lot of advantages, features which were not there in function. That is the reason React people used to tell you that classes are important in React. They have a lot of features, and you can build component by using what? Classes. And they have a reason to tell you why not to use much functions, because they have so many issues. But recently, from React 18 onwards, React people have built these functions in such a way they can handle everything what a class is doing. That is the reason our React developers now changed the approach from classes to functions. Officially, even you visit the website of React, they show everything through functions now. Earlier, they used to give priority for classes, but now we have, means they have a reason to tell that function don't have this, class have this. But now recently 18 version developed every concept of class available with function. That's the reason in the modern React we don't recommend much classes, we use functions. But both you will learn, you will learn how to use, because we don't recommend much, but still we use in different occasions. When to use, how to use, I will show you. That means how to design a component. A component can be created with function, or component can be created with a class, right? Then let's see. First, I will show you an example here. Means we will see function components in React. First, we will see the function components in React, how we can do that. Then we will see the class components. Function components in React, for that some basic rules are there. You already learnt about functions, I don't need to tell you. In JavaScript, you learned function related so many things. I hope you know them. Remember, to use functions in React, in JavaScript, you must know everything about functions. What you learned about functions in JavaScript, I will give a list of topics related to functions. That means in JavaScript, so JavaScript functions related, what concepts you learned? You learned about function declaration, function expression, so function parameters. In function parameters, so rest parameters, spread parameters, am I right? Spread syntax for parameters. You learned about closure. You learned about callback. You learned about promise. And you learned about arrow technique, function with return. Am I right? So these are all JavaScript function related topics. Function anonymous and function recursion. Am I right? These are all the recursion. These are all function related topics. This is a function recursion. These are all function related concepts. When you learn JavaScript, in JavaScript, all these topics are important, right? You should know all these topics about functions. That's what JavaScript teaches you about function declarations, function expressions, function parameters, function rest parameters, spread syntax, and closures, callbacks, promises, arrow, return, anonymous functions, recursions, all this. These are the key points that you should know about functions. And these all you will learn in general JavaScript. In JavaScript, you will learn all this. So that means in React, if you have to use functions, first you should know all this. In JavaScript, you should learn all these things, right? I hope everyone in JavaScript knows all this. Now, what you need to do is to create function components. First point is the first basic means some basic points I will tell you. Every React component function must a function declaration must have title case. Title case representation should be there. That means component function should not have a lowercase name. It should be title case. Title case means every word first letter caps. That means how you do function and the function name. Suppose login, user login. Like this we have to give. So suppose you written like function, so user login, something like this. This is not valid because in latest versions it will completely show error. It will say that component name cannot be in camel case or others. It must be in title case only. That means this is valid. Now, next point, another important basic point is every component function must return a markup. It must return a markup, compulsory. Generally, functions will return a value. What a function can return, a number or a string or a boolean. You can return any type. But in components, when you design a component, make sure that the function returns a markup. Compulsory. A function should return markup. That's very important. Because a component is going to present some UI. Why you are using component to build UI? Whenever you access the component, it should return UI. And how UI is built? By using HTML, and HTML is markup now. That means every component must return markup. That is the basic rule actually. That and how it does. This is very important. So every component function can return only one fragment as markup. Every component function can return only one fragment as markup. I will show that here. It must return only one fragment as markup. It should return only one fragment as markup. For example, you see here now, suppose here, let's create a function. That means see, in the script, this is Babel. here in the script, I am writing a function. Function name I will give as login is the function name. Okay, you know how to write functions in JavaScript. As per the rules, this should return a markup. Markup, I will return heading 1. So I will say welcome to React and close heading 1. That's how you have to do. That means this is the markup it is returning now. So this is a component and the component is returning this markup. Now what we have to render? We have to render this component. How to render the component? Here, render the component. How to access that component? Component is accessed like a element. Element means angle bracket. What is it? Login. You see, login is available as an element slash login. You know, start tag and tag. That means imagine like you are creating your own elements now. You have a div, you have a span, you have input, like that you are creating your own elements. And see, this is the login we are showing here. That means actually in the output it will show that. This time it is not returning a text. It is returning a markup. And remember here, what is the meaning? It can return only one fragment. One fragment means, suppose I want a heading and a paragraph. Suppose heading I am giving as React 17 like this. And I want a paragraph also. That means I will put a paragraph here, close paragraph. And you can see welcome to React 17. It's not working. Because now how many fragments are there? Two fragments are there. Two fragments are there. You can see these two fragments are there. I will do one thing. I will combine these two fragments like this. In a parenthesis I am giving. In a parenthesis, because multiple. In a parenthesis this is 1 and this is 2. This is what we are returning. Am I right? And it cannot return multiple fragments. It should be only one fragment. Then how to return both? How to return both? Put these two in one fragment. Means put these two in one container. That means one container means what you can do? Remove these two and put a div. This is one container. In this container, you put these two lines. Am I right? That means finally it is returning how many fragments? One fragment. And in that you can keep these two. That means it is going to display. That means you have to make sure that every component can return only one fragment. One fragment. And in that you can put anything you want. Anything you want. That means you need to define in this. So we have function, login, and we are calling that function. Now, so many rules are there, I will tell you. That means how to create a fragment. That means I will tell you here. Syntax. What we do, function, some login, and this function login have to return. So it should return. We will put here. So a div. This is one fragment. Like this you need to keep. In one fragment, you have to keep everything. make sure that you are returning only one fragment. And how to access this here? So React DOM dot what? Render. Render is what? Login. Login. Where to render document? Get element by ID. It is root. In that location we have to render. That is how we access a component. Component is accessed like a element. It is going to access like an element. So what are the basic rules? Remember, this is just our introduction. That means we will learn more detail about components. Once we start building, we will learn how to build a real world component based on any real world web application example. We will see that. So initially the rules we are learning. So a component can be designed with function or it can be designed with class. Currently we are learning with functions. What are the features of functions and over classes? I will tell you once we start knowing them. And every function, so the name of the function must be in title case. Every word first letter caps. Every component function must return markup. It cannot be void type. It should return markup, and markup must be only one fragment. You cannot have multiple fragments. And important another rule here is JSX. This is actually JSX, not JavaScript directly. JSX will not allow will not allow will not allow void elements. Will not allow void elements. Void elements means elements they don't have end tags. You learned in HTML. Void elements means they don't have end tag, and JSX will not allow void elements. What does which means every element must have end token compulsory. That means all these days in HTML, what you have done, you written img. Am I right? So this is invalid now. This is invalid. You have to write img with img end. Actually in HTML there is no end token for img, but here it's mandate. Here React will not allow any void element. Every element you have to end. So you can end in this way also. What you can do, we can use img slash. This is also this is valid and this is also valid. That means how you write ending, how you tell the compiler that it is a self ending. We are ending it by using slash at the end. You have to use. That means it is mandatory that every element must end, otherwise it will not work. For example, you see here, suppose later we will put images and all. Here observe, suppose welcome. After welcome, I want to add a line break here. Just basic. To add a line break, here we are using BR. That is the option. It's not allowed. It shows an error. It shows an error. It's not allowed. You see the errors will come here. It is not allowing because it should be BR slash, or you have to write BR slash BR. You have to end like this. You end like this, that means now it is okay. There is no problem. Or you write like this, only BR you write, it's not working. That's an error. Then what you have to do, BR slash. This is okay. That means it is going to display in this way. That means it must have an end token. That means every element you are writing input na, so it should use input end. Input type text or anything you write, it should end compulsory. So you write input, so type is equal to text or something, you can end like this, or you have to use an end token. For example, you see now this is a login component now. Login component means heading we will give as user login. After that, I am designing a login screen. I will use some data list and a closed data list. In that we have data term, user ID, and data term close, and we have data definition, and here we need input. Input type is equal to text, and you need slash, that is end token. Now you can see the login screen comes. So we are designing a component and we are rendering the component. So what are the basic rules for component? One is a component cannot have void. So that means it should return everything. It should return in one fragment. How to write these fragments? So many techniques are there. I will show. As of now, put one box, one container, any one container, right? You know, you have in HTML lot of containers, and make sure that the elements are defined with end tokens. Otherwise, they don't work. Another option is JSX will not allow attributes. You have to use only properties. I hope you learned in HTML, JavaScript. In HTML, whatever you write is an attribute. In JavaScript, whatever you write is a property. Some attribute names are same, but sometimes they change. That means, for example, suppose we have an image. For image, we want to apply some image source. Then we can use SRC. SRC is available as attribute. SRC is available as a property also. Same SRC is available as both attribute and property. But I want to apply class. Class means I want to apply a CSS class name. You know, CSS class names are applied with class. But you know, class is an attribute. In JavaScript, you can use class. In JavaScript, you cannot use class because it is a keyword in JavaScript. So what you have to do, you have to use class name. This is what you have to use in JSX. In JSX, you cannot use attributes. You have to use properties. So some are same, but some are different. So you make sure that you are not writing attribute. You are writing properties. You are writing the properties. That is very important. Otherwise, they don't work. That means usually, suppose you see here, this is one term. I will copy another term. This is second one. This is what? Password. Input type as what? Password. Like this we define. And you see it comes. And I will keep a button. And button. Login as a button. Okay. Close button. Now you can see this is what it is showing there. Now observe carefully this div. So I will here above somewhere we will write a style. And style, I will put a class as login form. Am I right? Login form, border as 2 pixel, solid, some gray, and padding as 10 pixel, and border radius as some 20 pixel. Now I want to apply this box some shadow, box shadow as 2 pixel, 2 pixel, and gray. I want to apply this to this container. Then how do we apply? Usually we use class. Class is what? So login form, that is the class name now. That means we are using login form class. Login form class. That means it is trying to apply that login form class. It is working, but it shows an error, invalid DOM property. Do you mean class name, not class? That means it says that don't use attributes, always use property. That means now how to apply not class by using class name. Now there is no problem in that. That means now that error will not come. Right? So here you are making the change. That means suppose width is equal to some 250 pixel, something like this, and it will display in this way. That means we are applying the style. This is the component we are creating. We are rendering the component. Now, what is the specialty here? So, reusability, extensibility will be easy, which you will see. How do we manage? But this is the basic rule for the components. So, I hope you understood the basic rules. Some more will come, but as of now, I just showed you an introduction. Means how to create a project which is an ordinary web application, how to install React libraries, how do we import the libraries, and how do we use React in a page, and how we create a component. These components we will learn more detail, working with components. We will take one real-time example, means one website example, and we will try to create the design with this knowledge. Then you will get a clarity. That means we will see some Netflix like or some Instagram like screen, and we will try to create that using these components. Then we will get clarity. That we'll see tomorrow. Right, in tomorrow's session, we will discuss more about components. Remember, this is old React. That means you are currently learning React 17 related basic. This I will just give a overview. Then we will go to the 18. That is the advanced. Where why you have to learn to, because you need to know differences. Because companies are still using old versions, you should know. So I am giving an overview with 17. Once we done this basic, then we will go advanced into 18 version. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue. Everyone have a classroom code, right? So the Google Classroom code. So I will share the classroom code online people. We'll do one thing. If it is not, if it is not working for the new people, because sometimes the room is full, we will create another group and we will share to other people who are unable to join. Right? It will, because it will allow only 250 people. And as of now, if you joined into it, it's okay. Otherwise, the new people note down this code. If you are unable to join, tomorrow I will share another code. So for the people who are unable, this is the code. today's notes will be available after I finish this, right? So means today we done, right? So now I will upload this notes, today's notes code, everything I will upload. This is the code, and today's example, this is the example of which page, home.html. This is the code of today's. Whatever we done today, I will share there. You can go through that. Right. Tomorrow we will learn more about component, how to design components with some real-time examples. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue. Right.
हाँ कहाँ हुआ कहाँ रूम पे है ठीक है लेता ही हो तो ऑफिसर टी शर्ट अरे बोल रहे कहाँ जा रहे हो ऑफिस में जा रहे हो वहां से लेता ही हो ना कपड़ा टी शर्ट और ठीक जल्दी पैक करने दो लेना रोटी उधर से
आने आपको पिलावट